Hello and welcome into my Monday message and weekly video. So today I'm talking about Optimum Carb Plan. So what I decided to do in November is to really devote it to my health and to help my clients and anyone who is listening. And it's a free content in which we discover why we can't resist sugar and what we can do to improve our relationship with sugar. So today I'm going to talk about the Optimum Carb Plan. And I must say, that it is a heavy topic because it requires a little bit of science, right? And something that I have been doing for recently, just to understanding where my carbs are coming from. So just for clarity and maybe just for the context, so I'm 44, just to give you an idea. And I've discovered that whereas before, my metabolism of the carbs and generally, even if they were a bit of excessive, were quite good. But because I'm getting into this aging process, into the perimenopause and the menopause, there is a lot of things going on in my body. Excuse me. So it's very difficult to keep on top of it. Plus, my lifestyle has become a little bit of sedentary. So I'm also type 1 diabetic, so I am a little bit on that blood sugar roller coaster, and I'm trying to stabilize the sugars. But I'm also a coach, and I predominantly help people with the mindset around sugar, understanding that we have the choice to put the thoughts in our mind that can help us with breaking the kind of addiction or improving the relationship overall. Because I've found it that quite often this is where people go when they just off the wagon a little bit, right? So we work a lot on that. And today I'm going to talk about the optimal carb plan and the lifestyle. So obviously carbs are regarded as something that is evil, right? We shouldn't have any, and we're so afraid of actually having it, but because that is, it has basically a bad press. So first of all, I don't want you to exclude the carbs from your diet, but I want you to ensure that you basically choose the right ones and also the amount for your lifestyle. Now, I'm gonna just approach it from a little bit of a scientific approach. So there will be a lot of different calculations, but if you want a transcript of this video, you're gonna get it in the sugar challenge I'm running from November 25th. And there is a link in the show notes. So one of the things what is the optimum carb plan, right? So we have a lot of people who, and actually it is recommended for diabetes, for example, to keep our plan a low carb, and there is a certain amount of carbs we should be eating, but we are so different. Like some of us move a little bit more regularly, some of us sit by the desk probably most of the time, some of us are in pain, so we can't really exercise. There's so many different circumstances that we have to adjust to our own lifestyle, and that's why I found it optimum carb plan works for a lot of people. So first of all, and the main ingredient of that is obviously mindset, right? So mindset and putting the power sentences and putting thoughts in your brain that basically makes the getting rid of the sugar from the diet easy, right? And it is totally possible, but it requires work every day. And then we're looking at the nutrition overall, and we're looking at the understanding what is currently you have and what you could have to improve it. So carbs are recognized macronutrients and very important for the energy. Our body converts quickly sugar from food and glucose and allows transportation of glucose into cells, mitochondria. I mean, the insulin, which is in our body, opens up the cells and let the glucose in. Obviously, if everything works perfectly, and then our cells are feeded with the glucose and just provide the energy for what we need. And our brain needs the optimum amount of sugar, but too much can be toxic. So we don't want that. We don't want free sugars being in our bloodstream because they can't get into our cells. And this is where this insulin resistance potentially can arise, leading later into type 2 diabetes. So 10 grams of carbs is around 38 calories. And I talk about calories as the energy. Calorie is the energy. So if we consider 2,000 calories for women and 2,500 for men, this is from the NHS, so it's a Public Health England. This constitutes about 1.9% for women and 1.5% of men, so total from the total calorie intake. So there is some research, well, what has been known so far that we should be taking about 50% of our calorie intake from the carbs. So if we eat 2,000 calorie diet, and we obviously, this is not about losing weight or anything, it's just a simple normal state, then 50% of that will be from carbs. So, but now, because our lifestyle has changed so much, the research is ongoing that actually we need to eat around 10% where it comes from the carbs for our energy intake, because let's face it, we don't move, right? So if 50% is correct, we would need about 1,000 calories. For men, just 1,266. But with 10%, it's only 200 calories from the carbs. And for men, it's 250. So if we take, for example, McDonald's, which we always think, oh, that's a lot of carbs in McDonald's, a lot of fries and burgers and everything else. So the small portion of fries, about 220 calories. So this is even over that recommended amount, and it's only a small portion of fries, and you're not going to thrive on it, right? It doesn't have a lot of nutrients, and you're not going to have to full for long. And I will tell you in a minute, because I have done the experiment. So for 200 calories, obviously that won't be all carbs, but you can have very nutritious meals like chicken or vegan salad. And the way to really make your salad rich, and even it's like, oh, I can't have salad in winter. We should eat salad all day, all year long, because they're so important for just really having our nutrition. But we can always add things to it. Sprouting is good, and a little bit of fermented food. Like, just give it a variety, bulk it up with some nice protein. Could be chicken if you eat meat, it could be fish. But I eat predominantly plant-based protein, so it will be some tofu. There will be some nuts and seeds, and so making sure that it's substantiating me for a longer period of time. And I want to make sure that it goes about 4 hours. So this what I will be giving in the challenge, is the idea for 200 calories meals, but I also will tell you how much the carbs, because in 200 calorie meals we can have a little bit less of carbs, but I will be pointing out the carb content as well, just for you to help your intuition. Yeah, so we want to intuitively choose our food later on, but I think having the basis right will help you to maintain the results. So if you eat a low carb diet, which is basically 50 grams or lower, you consume about 190 calories from the carbs, but the quality matters. So if this is only such a small amount, right? Because carbs are important in a way that it consists from fiber. So no other food or macronutrients has that much fiber as carbs have. And also starch, which is important as well for our gut. And fiber is so important to get everything moving, to bulk it up so that we feel fuller for longer, that our bacteria in our gut can thrive. So the McDonald's doesn't have that, right? So, or generally burgers. And I'm not saying that I'm against or for, I'm just trying to put a certain things in comparison. So I sometimes buy ready meals, planned living from Waitrose, and recently I bought tikka masala with char grilled vegetables and cashews. So the pack was about 500 calories, and it had a 60 gram of carbs, of which 14 grams of that was sugars. So the meal contains quite a bit of rice, which is basmati rice, which was a bit of like a yellowish, I guess, done with turmeric. And this is where probably the sugar comes from, or that I would think that it's in carbs. So sugars could be from the vegetables, but also add it to the sauce, which is quite common. So I can choose to eat a very small portion of rice and the sauce plus the side salad. So for that would be an optimum carb and probably would be less than 60 grams. Or I can consume it as a whole because I'm going to the gym and I need quick converting energy. Carb consists, as I said, from fiber and starch, so it's important to have them. So I keep my meals around 40 to 60 grams of carbs, but the sugar content, I want to keep below 10 grams, near to 6 grams. And that's important because carbs, as I said, fiber, starch, but also sugar. So if we keep that sugar of the carbs content low, it should be fine. But everyone is very bio-individual, so we need some testing. So as I said, the other day I went to McDonald's and I have not been there for years, but I wanted to try some fries and vegan burger. So I had a small portion of fries and burger and about 1,000 calories. Like, oh, yeah, I know, I couldn't believe this. But it wasn't the worst, like the calories. What was the worst thing of it is that I was hungry after 1 hour. So I had to eat again. And one of the things we came to McDonald's, I couldn't understand that why people buying so much of the food, because we only bought, I went with my daughter and we only bought just a portion for me and for her, very small one. And I couldn't understand why people buy so much food, but now I do because they are hungry, right? So because it's so heavily processed, most of it, that it's just so difficult for people to be sustained on it for a longer period of time. So obviously there is this quantity in the carbs. Is the quality of the carbs and the quantity of the carbs so important. So I had to eat again. I was just basically hungry. And I try to keep about 4 hours between the meals. And the fiber in the meals, which obviously is not really present in that kind of food, then I just I have to have it, right? So to be not hungry for 4 hours. So I'm talking about the calorie counting because I always follow my intuition. I know what serves me, what gives me the energy, and what can give the energy to my clients. We do experiments together. But with the aging process in place, which is predominantly very massive hormonal changes, I noticed that my body does not metabolize the carb as it used to be. So because I spent quite a bit of time behind my desk, I started to put on weight, especially around my waist. I don't want that. So I started to look at how much I consume in terms of the carbs, how I feel, look at the cravings, eliminated most added carbs from snacks and drinks. I also sign up to the gym and doing the Pilates. I think one of the things is to get the carbs right, but also increase the cardio part. Even when we age, right? Or at least, well, not at least, we should actually be doing this, making sure that we have some cardio exercise in it, so help our body. But of course, make sure that you check with your doctor first. So I've created the optimal carb plan for myself, and just to stop putting on weight, and also feel satisfied with the energy and the content of my meals. I didn't want this to be boring and bland. So yeah, I think there is a bit of science in it, understanding where you are at the moment, cutting out, yes, you're going to bulk up on carbs and unnecessary sugar with the sugary treats you have over the course of the day. And that could be quite automatic behavior, because before you go into those snacks, it's important to analyze what's going on in your brain. So I'm reaching for a snack because I'm bored. Am I reaching for something else because I want a break? I'm reaching there because I just feel down and I need something to pick me up. It's important to analyze this first. For some people, it's not possible. So sometimes I do it afterwards, so that people can increase that self-awareness. So I will be doing this, and obviously doing a bit of mindset as well in my challenge, which starts on the 25th of November. And I want you to join if this is something for you via the link in the show notes. So we will work on mindset first to understand your cravings. We'll do some decluttering and understand our macronutrient content, so we can have fully satisfying meal for energy, first of all, the whole day. And but we will do that mindset work. We will ask difficult questions. Yeah, I think in order to create sustainable long-term results, looking into your brain and finding the sentences, finding the thoughts that are coming up for you, it's a very important part of this work. And one of the sentences could be that quitting sugar is hard, right? And it's interesting how it all works, because it is perpetuating thought in our brain that doesn't allow us to give up on sugar. Because first of all, we say, well, it's hard. So it's sort of, we are off the hook, and this is our excuse not to actually do it. Because we can have different things, like different choices. And then we think to ourselves, but it's hard. It's hard to get off, to actually not have this, or not really have the sugar. Therefore, what we're doing is like we give in because it's hard. So it's just all around thought around the sugar. That's one of them. There could be multiple different ones, but I'm yet to find a person to tell me that quitting sugar is easy, or at least was easy at the very beginning, because I know people have quitted sugar. It totally can be done, but I'm yet to find a person that it was easy at the beginning of the journey, right? So I hope you can join me in that challenge. I would love to help you wherever you're struggling or improving your relationship as well. And let's do it. Let's do it. So have a lovely, lovely week, and I'll see you next time on here. So I hope to to connect with you. Leave me a comment, subscribe to the channel, and I hope to see you soon.